It is my privilege and pleasure on behalf of the UJ Library to welcome you all to the second day of our first virtual Teacher Librarian webinar. We are honored to be joined by our Executive Director, Prof Maria Frahm-Arp, our guest speakers, Dr. Lorette Jacobs, Mr. Bilal Kathrada, Dr. Graham Dampier, and Dr. Jacqueline Bachela. To kick off our conversation for today, please allow me to invite Professor Maria Frahm-Arp to deliver a welcome address and give us an overview of the UJ Library and the School Community Project. Prior to joining the library, Prof Maria was the head of the Department of Religious Studies in 2016, and in 2017 was the Vice Dean, Teaching and Learning in the Faculty of Humanities. Prof Maria, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ivy, and welcome to everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. It is such a pleasure and privilege to have people from so many different places in South Africa joining us. We started these teacher librarian seminars as a way to reach out to our colleagues in the school environments, in some ways to share some of what's been happening in the university environments, particularly around academic libraries, but also to learn what's been happening in school environments so that there is better synergy and flow between libraries in schools and academic libraries at universities. What I want to share with you this afternoon is a very quick overview of our experiences of COVID at the UJ Library. One of the most important things for us has been being able to communicate with staff and students. And we've been able to communicate in a variety of different ways that have worked really well for us. Possibly our most effective tool of communication has been Botsa, our chatbot. And the chatbot has been kept very busy during COVID, learning all sorts of new things and making sure that everybody knows what's the latest information in the library. We also launched our library app, which means that all students have in effect got the library in their pocket because the library can now be found on their phone. The library app makes searching for information much easier. And so this is a very user-friendly tool and a great way for people to communicate with us. We've been amazed in the library how many requests we have been receiving from staff and students. And it's been an indicator of just how hard everybody has continued to work at UJ during lockdown. One of the things that we did when we started lockdown was just before the university closed, literally 2 days before we closed, we made a whole series of short 2-minute videos, and this is just one example thereof, where different librarians, many of whom had never stood in front of a camera before, made 2-minute how-to videos, how to download an ebook, how to find a journal article, etc. And these have been enormously popular among staff and students during lockdown. One of the things that we tried to do in the library was to encourage people to keep being research active. And so we provided a number of online training sessions around various different things about research and research data management. One of the things we thought was that many academics would not be able to do research because they weren't able to go into the field or into a laboratory. And this would be the perfect time to get on top of all those skills that you now need to have in the research world. For example, being able to manage your research data on an online platform. One of the things that we launched during COVID-19 was our research Navigator. We are very proud of this online platform. As you can see from this little slide, it helps students navigate their whole way through the research cycle. Now, many of you will know that all sorts of different publishers like EBSCO and Wiley have got something similar to this. but their products are very generic and are not focused on the actual needs of students in South Africa and particularly at UJ. As the different departments in the university and the different faculties become more aware of this research navigator, we are encouraging them to help us tailor-make this so that people in humanities and in the sciences, for example, will have in this research navigator all the information they need to succeed in their postgraduate studies. Another thing that's been very exciting during COVID has been the amount of people using our Library Innovation Hub. The Library Innovation Hub is a wonderful new tool where you can learn everything there is to know about 4IR, artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, etc. But if you click onto another page on this hub, you are able to do a search for anything under the sun. Let's say something like COVID-19, you type that in and you want to get a recipe to 3D print what COVID-19 looks like. Up will come a whole lot of free 3D recipes. It's also got podcasts, virtual reality tours, and all of the things that are in this hub have been vetted by librarians and are therefore what we consider the best of what is available out there. One of the exciting projects during COVID-19 has been that many staff engaged in a reading exercise. Before we went into lockdown, we knew that many staff members would not have access to be online all the time. And how could they use this time effectively? So we put together reading packs, which we printed out for staff. And then during COVID, staff divided themselves up into small groups and went through these readings, WhatsApping each other questions, encouraging each other, sharing ideas. The very exciting thing that has come out of this reading is the circulation staff have rethought what it means to be a circulation staff member. And you're going to see many changes in the UJ Library next year when we can all come back and be on campus, as many of our circulation staff are going to move away from the traditional circulation desk. They have now all received tablets, and they're going to be on the floors with their tablets, basically helping people where they are at. The circulation staff are reimagining their role from handing books out to really becoming our frontline customer service managers, but also, and far more importantly, our frontline teachers, showing people how to find books using either the library app or the computers, how to find all sorts of different forms of information outside of a written book or article. One of the things that we were amazed at in the library was just how many students have attended our online trainings. And we've had over 1,000 students attend our online sessions. In April, we trained 9,590 students in 1 month. This was quite phenomenal and has really enabled students to excel in their studies. And one of the things that UJ is particularly proud of is that we completed all exams by the end of July, and that our pass rate has actually been slightly higher this year than in previous years. We have become expert at running events in the online platform, and we run over 10 events a week in the library, really going all out to keep the UJ community vibrant, alive, and engaged in academic debate. One of the things that we did to keep ourselves motivated and to work through what the crisis of COVID has meant in our lives is to really be, in some ways, traditional librarians. What I mean by that is that we have turned to literature, both ancient and modern, and asked ourselves, what can we learn from all the books and novels around us in the library to help us cope with COVID-19. And so every day for 5 minutes, I give a little address, which is normally a summary of a book that we are reading. So if we're reading one of the books in The Lord of the Rings, I would give a summary every day, Monday to Friday, to help us through, and then reflect on what we can learn in literature. And the little picture at the bottom of this slide is from Lao Tzu. We've been looking at sages through the ages and at a variety of ancient texts from China and India. All of these texts are giving us inspiration and helping us to think about our lives, the difficulties of COVID, the challenges and the opportunities that it brings, and how we can embrace these while remaining connected with one another and aware that we are, because we are in community. Our strength lies in our togetherness as people. So I welcome you all to this seminar. Thank you so much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you as part of our broader library community, and we hope that your time with us will be inspiring and insightful. Thank you once again for joining us, and stay well and stay safe.
The University of Johannesburg, the future reimagined.